What is up, Guru Gang? If you are new, welcome to my channel, and if you have been a part of the gang, thank you so much for coming back and clicking on today's video. Today I will finally be sharing with you guys my thoughts on the Kayali Oudgasm collection. I'm super excited to share my thoughts, y'all, because I have been wearing all of these for the past week or so, and I definitely have some thoughts on some things. So I was very excited for this collection. As a lover of the colors black and gold, like as soon as I saw the marketing for this, I went crazy and I was like, oh my god, which one am I going to get? Of course, I had to get all four in the mini size just to see which one I would want a full size bottle of. And spoiler alert, I will definitely be getting a full size of one or two of these. So let's go ahead and jump into the review, y'all. So the first one we're going to start with is going to be the Oudgasm Tobacco Oud number 4. This one was definitely, I would say, my least favorite of the four. I honestly was the most excited for this one because I really have been enjoying tobacco leaning fragrance lately. I'm finding that that is a fragrance note that I really do enjoy, but this one was just the tobacco done in a way that I typically don't really like. So the opening of this one for me, y'all, I definitely can smell this citrusy zestiness from the mandarin orange, and the honey in here added a little touch of warmth, but I wouldn't necessarily have made it more sweet. So the opening of this for me, y'all, basically came off very metallic-y, a little dry, a little just, it gave me the vibes of like actual tobacco, like dry tobacco, you know, leaves, or like the inside of like a cigar before it's smoked. Like it was very just dry and crunchy, and then as it dried down, I started to get a lot of smoke, like literal smoke or incense or something like that, and it was just too dry for me. I find that I like a more like wet tobacco smell. And for me, I like when tobacco is just more smooth, it's a little creamy, it's a little vanillic. This one I just feel is very sharp to my nose. It opens very metallic, and even as it dries down, it never really loses that smoky factor. I also find this one to lean a little bit more on the masculine scale as well, and this does have a healthy dose of oud as well, which I feel gives it that very strong, powdery, dry feel. And overall, even as it dries down, it does smooth out a little bit, but I just feel that this is not something I particularly would reach for, just because I don't want to have to wait for this to completely dry down to enjoy it. And even the full dry down, y'all, I just don't completely love. So unfortunately, the Tobacco Oud was my least favorite from the bunch. I will say, if you are a fan of this type of scent profile, this one was definitely the longest lasting for me, and it gave me a good 8 hours of wear. I will probably be giving this one to my dad because this is the type of scent DNA that he likes. He loves a really dry, slightly smoky, masculine, woody fragrance, so he will probably really enjoy this. The list is going to be Rose Oud 16. This one was also not completely, I won't say this one was completely a fail for me, but I just know that this is not a rose scent profile that I typically like. Rose is definitely a scent note that I haven't really been enjoying lately, but this leans closer to the type of rose that I don't really go for. This definitely opens up very soapy and very mature, like that very mature, you know, classic type of rose fragrance. I get this green rose with that lemon twist. So the opening of this honestly reminds me a lot of one of my favorite fragrances, which is Mancera's Roses Vanille, but without the syrupy sweet vanilla. So basically that very sharp lemon rose opening without any sweetness to really balance it out. I don't really get a whole lot of vanilla in here. Vanilla Madagascar, I don't really get that. I also don't get a ton of oud in this either. I really just get this very green, soft, you know, soapy rose lemon combo, and it just kind of has that sour rose smell to my nose, if that makes sense. So this almost smells like just the sour rose part of Delina without that sweetness. So that's kind of the vibe that this gives me. I do prefer a more vanillic, syrupy, sweet or creamy rose, and this one is just a little too powdery green and soapy and mature for me. So I will probably be giving this one to my mom because this is a scent profile that she likes. I also found that this one was the least longest lasting out of the four. Like this one gave me a good 3 to 4 hours and I felt like I needed to reapply it. So yeah, this one unfortunately was not for me. I didn't necessarily completely dislike it, but I just know this is not a rose fragrance that I typically enjoy. And I have other rose fragrances in my collection that I would reach for before I reach for this one. Get to my favorites. Now, honestly, I go back and forth between which one I like the most because honestly, y'all, I'm at the point where I know I need full bottles of both of these. But I will say, Cafe Oud was a love at first sniff for me, which I was honestly expecting the Vanilla Oud to be a love at first sniff, but that one I definitely grew to love. But Cafe Oud, this is so sexy, y'all. This is so good. So let me tell you the journey that this fragrance took me on, y'all, okay? So when I first sprayed this definitely reminded me a lot of Black Opium in the way that it has this very seductive, robust, like deep coffee smell. Like it almost smells like some sort of Sumatran African coffee. It's very deep, very robust. But then as it dries down, I start to get something a little creamy and frothy. So I'm really thinking it's the vanilla and the cappuccino note coming together. And the dry down of this definitely reminds me a little bit of Skylar's Vanilla Sky, which also has a vanilla cappuccino combination. But this just smells so rich and luxe, y'all. Like this just smells so good. This is the one that when I sprayed it on, I kept wanting to smell myself, smell my arm, because the fragrance was just so dynamic and interesting and it smelled incredible. Now, I don't necessarily love the geranium in here because that does add kind of a green, slightly metallic vibe, but I do feel like it smooths out the longer that you have this on. And overall, I just feel like this fragrance is very well balanced. And it just smells really rich and luxurious. Like this is the type of scent that you want to wear to like a night out or like a holiday party. Like this just screams fall and winter to me. And I will definitely be adding a full size of this to my collection. And this also gave me a good 8 hours of wear. So I'm just so excited to see how this one smells the longer it's in my collection. So I'm definitely going to be getting a full size bottle because if you did not know, Kayali fragrances do typically perform better over time. So this one already gave me amazing longevity and projection, but I just know it's gonna get even better the longer it sits in my collection. So I will definitely be getting a bottle of Cafe Oud. Then lastly, of course, we have Vanilla Oud, which this does seem to pretty much be the safest blind buy of the four. And rightfully so, y'all. And honestly, when I first smelled this, even though this is a love now, I was not completely convinced that I needed a full-size bottle of this because my initial thoughts of this scent, y'all, and that's the thing with Kayali fragrances, you really have to give them a good 3, 4, 5 times of wear before you fully form an opinion on it, because the first time I wore this, y'all, I was just thinking, this smells way too similar to Billie Eilish in Latifah's Nebras. Like it smells too similar to those scents for me to justify buying this. But this fragrance is definitely a chameleon, y'all, because as this dries down, the opening definitely has kind of that spicy, you know, spicy vanilla type of vibe like Billie Eilish and Latifah's Nebras, but this one is definitely a little bit more smooth, especially as it dries down. But this also has a very powdery, sweet feel, and if you guys know me, I love me a good powdery vanilla, and that is exactly what this smells like. So this definitely gives me a powdered sugar type of effect, powdered sweet, like a sweet baby powder almost. And I really, really love this, y'all. This also reminds me of 2 other fragrances in my collection, and it took me so long to realize what it was. The white musk in here mixed with this sweet powdery vanilla combo, because I don't get a ton of oud in here. Like, I don't think I'm getting any oud. What I'm really getting is this powdery feel, which is, I think, like a drop of oud, but for the most part, I'm not getting anything super musky. I am getting this very smooth, creamy, powdery vanilla mixed with this white musk, and it reminds me a lot of one of my favorite Latifah fragrances right now, which is Anna Abiyed Poudre. It just has that very sweet, like, just skin-like powdered vanilla. Like, I don't know, it just smells so good. It's so orgasmic, so euphoric, and I just love this type of scent DNA. So if you are a fan of those types of scents, like I said, the opening definitely reminds me a lot of Eilish and Nebras, but the longer it's on skin, it definitely smooths itself out. It's very fluffy, luxurious. It just smells, I just really love this one, y'all. It's a very safe blind buy, but if you don't like those powdery, musky scents, you may or may not be a fan of this one, but I do feel like it leans closer to the sweet powdery side and not super like mature, dated, musky, ashy type of powdery. Like, this just smells very luxurious and expensive to me, and I am absolutely going to have to get a full bottle of this. So very, very happy that I had 2 wins out of this collection. I was hoping that I would absolutely love all 4, but Tobacco and Rose, they will be getting decluttered, and they already have homes. Unfortunately, they will be going to my parents because those are scent profiles that match both of them perfectly. So I hope you guys enjoyed my review. I also forgot to say that the Vanilla Oud gave me about 4 to 6 hours of wear. So hopefully the longer that it sits with a lot of Kayali's fragrances, specifically Vanilla 28, the longevity does seem to project and get better the longer it sits. So that's why I'm gonna go ahead and just get a full-size bottle of this one and kind of let her sit and macerate and get better. So hopefully the longevity improves a little bit over time. But that is it for today's review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please do not forget to subscribe to my channel if you enjoy my content, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.